trying to get in the trenches around the encampments, correct? Is that part of the Special Forces training, was to attack the enemy with that type of thing?
No. That was only him.
Where did that training for him come in? Was that just him, or was
That was just him.
Okay, that was just him. Was there any of the American men participating other than him in that?
That's all as far as I know. That's the only one I ever knew of it.
Did they ever kill him?
No.
Did the Vietnamese ever kill him?
No.
And he was called the Apple Man.
Yeah.
And there was a saying that you said something about the Apple Man, if he catches you, oh yes he can. Something like that, right? Okay. Now, tell me about some of the other operations you went on. You said that you went on a Foxfire operation,
Yep.
that you stole some things and took it where? You stole an aircraft.
Yep. We borrowed a MiG fighter plane and flew it.
So you borrowed it, you didn't steal it.
Well, I don't like that term stealing.
Now, did you have to kill any of the Russians when you did that?
No.
Were you
Well, yes, I did. Because
were you sexually attracted to the Russian women?
did not know.
Well, how about the men?
Not likely.
Okay. So basically, you didn't have any feelings towards the Russian women or the Russian men.
Well,
Is that something you don't want to discuss, or did you marry one of the Russian women?
I was married to one of them.
Okay, so you did
She
have.
was an informant.
Did she fly back with you?
No.
How did you
She
get her
was-
back here?
She was killed.
Oh, she was killed. So she has not or ever been here in the United States. She was killed.
Not to my knowledge.
Did you kill her?
No. See, KGB.
The KGB caught up to her and killed her.
Oh, yes. They found out who she was.
Okay. Now, what about after the Foxfire event? What did you do then?
Well, that's when I flew back to the United States.
Now, what about some of these women that have used you for government purposes? Is what you've stated. Ruth something was one of them.
Ruth McDonald. Ruth McDonald.
She's related to what now?
She was related to the father, or to her father was the owner of McDonnell Douglas Aircraft.
Okay. Why do you think that the government would have used these women to do this with you? Marry you, then divorce you, and how many times have you been married, sir? Go ahead. You can say it. The public can understand it. You probably got Mickey Rooney beat. How many times?
15 times.
15 times you've been married. You've been lucky in love 15 times. And none of those marriages were to men, though, correct?
Good night, no.
Okay. We're just making sure. So, I know you talked about the Apple Man. You were not the Apple Man, though, right?
Not lucky.
Okay. The Apple Man, what color was he?
Well, he was black.
He was a black man. Okay. All right. And he was a big man, so he wasn't you. All right.
He was big, all right.
All right. And he was big in other areas, correct?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. He was large, you would say.
Well, yes, it's been scary.
Okay. So you've seen him in action, I'm sure.
I haven't watched him, no.
Okay. I know the cameramen here are having problems with this. We may have to cut and go back to this come back. But anyways, let's move on from this particular conversation because it seems to be of no end. Let's go on to let's go further on with the women, not the men. So you've been married 15 times. You know some of the women that you're married to. Have they been related to political figures?
Well, not other than Ruth McDonald. He wasn't political. He was, like I said.
No, he was a she.
He was the father of.
Oh, the father. Okay, but see, the people out here, they want to know if it was he and she and he. They would like to know that because.
Well, I ain't never had nothing to do with Smith, so.
Okay, nothing to do with men, but you have with women. Okay, well, that's what they want to know. They want to make sure mentally you are still stable when it comes to that.
Night in the morning, yes.
Okay, so you've given up that old habit. There was no habit to bring it.
There was no habit.
There was no habit. Okay. All right. Let's get back to what you have said before. That you were an assassin by the government. They have taken your mind. I've twisted a few things around. I know to try to trick you a little bit, but I can plainly see that you are not into that one right there, and that is very, I will publicly apologize for my behavior, but it's up to me as the interviewer to try to stump you a little bit. And I'm not the enemy, and I don't want to be perceived as the enemy. And I'm not a flagrant gray man myself, but I have no intentions either. Let's go on to what the military did to your mind. What did they?
It was called a mind alteration.
Mind alteration. And during this time, where were you taken?
Time?
Where were you taken?
Oh, the time they done that?
Yes, where were you
That
taken?
was in the hospital in my own hometown in Michigan.
So in your own hometown is where they did some mind alterations to you.
They set me up to have me assassinated right there.
I still don't understand. You've talked considerably about the Russians. The Russians this around. What has all this got to do with the Russians? I know that you've talked about the Chinese, the Vietnamese. What does the Russians got to do with this?
Like I said, they were the ones supplying the weapons and ammunition and everything for the North Vietnamese.
Okay.
They are the ones who developed that big fighter plane that the United States wanted so desperately to have.
And did you encounter any of these at the Waffle House?
Yes, I sure have.
And over the years of your going to the Waffle House, have you encountered men who said they knew you, knew who you were, Colonel Scott Bladen, and they 100% knew that you were in Vietnam?
I was sitting in the Waffle House, and a man walked into the Waffle House when I was in there having my coffee, and he turned and looked straight at me. I didn't say a word to him. He didn't know who I was or what before.
And what was his name?
He did not ever reveal his name either.
So is it true, sir, that a lot of these men are frightened to give their actual identity to you?
Yes.
Is there a conspiracy out there? Would you consider that a conspiracy by something in the government?
Yeah,
Some hidden?
I know it is.
Do you think it's a hidden government?
Oh, yeah.
What makes you believe that?
Because I know what was going on years ago.
But you think that who is in charge of this right now? Is there someone that's actively involved in this? Do we know this person?
Yeah, Cheney.
Cheney who?
That used to be the vice president.
The vice president is involved in a hidden government.
Oh, yeah.
What makes you believe that?
Well, let's put it this way.
And by you saying that, do you think that your life is in danger again?
Oh, I know my life is constantly in danger.
Your life is constantly in danger. Now, let me ask you, do you think Dick Cheney is bisexual?
I haven't ever had no experience with that with him.
Okay, but you don't know that at all, right?
No.
And do you know that his daughter is a lesbian?
Well, I didn't know that either.
Okay, but his daughter is a lesbian, and possibly she learned some of this from her dad?
Probably did.
Okay, would you
put
be
that
able to
off.
prove that?
No.
Okay.
I could never prove anything like
Can you
that.
Can you have any proof whatsoever of some of the allegations that you made, especially one to the Vice President of the United States, the ex-Vice President? What leads you to believe Dick Cheney is?
There's things I don't want to discuss.
No, you don't want to discuss it. Okay. But what can you discuss that would lead the American people or some of your former Vietnam veterans to learn to know that you are Colonel Scott C. Bladen? Just by looking in this camera and saying it is one thing, but what can you say to them that will make them believe you are who you say you are and not Santa Claus?
Anybody that knows me knows what my nickname, the Blade, was.
You're not from the North Pole.
No.
Are you from the South Pole?
No.
Are you from China? Are you from Russia? Are you from Montana?
That's one of my...
Do they call you one from Montana?
Yep.
Now, so you believe you're a Montanian?
Well, I know my family originates from there.
And they are
Sioux Indian Nation.
the Sioux.
My great-grandfather was Sioux, and so...
Ben Sioux? Who?
My great-grandmother was a full-blooded Sioux Indian.
Well, but and what was your grandfather's name, sir?
My great-grandfather was white, and he was... his name was Loomis.